Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another candid conversation about network marketing with Dr. Wayne, as usual, and myself, BK. Good morning, Dr. Wayne.
Good morning, BK. Good morning, everyone. We're in for an interesting little session today. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm sure. You can see Dr. Wayne's excitement on his face. So we want to just quickly touch on something very exciting and very important as well. And remember, we were talking about the attributes and the characteristics of an entrepreneur in the past two sessions. And today we kind of, that was like a theoretical part about it, but we want to kind of move it into the practical side of it. And today we just figured that we want to talk about the importance of events because that's the actual doing of it. So Dr. Wayne, what would you like to talk about importance of events?
It's probably from what we've been talking about over the last couple of videos, tying that all together. So we've talked about the theory, I suppose, is a good way of putting it. We've talked about the theory of being the entrepreneur, and one of the most inspiring thing about an entrepreneur is the ability to then lead. And what we want to do then is lead so that when we find other leaders who can lead in the same way. And one of the best ways to lead, and I really didn't get this initially when I first got involved with network marketing. I truly didn't understand the importance of going to meetings or the importance of going to events. So kind of like start small. It might be just a one-on-one meeting with a colleague, talking about your product, your whatever it may be, your business. And then from there, it might be then talking about going then to a venue once a month that you've created. And then from there, going to the corporate events and then the conventions, etc., and taking it sort of one step at a time. And the reason I think this has come up is because we just had a big convention. The importance of leading to bring your people along to these events is really important because you really notice the growth of your business about 5 to 6 weeks after something like a big event like this. This year I had my goal of so many people to bring along, and I achieved that. And literally what I did is I bought tickets back a year ago, not knowing who these builders were going to be, and then the slots therefore filled up, which was lovely. And this time I've doubled that, and we're hoping to get a larger number to 2021 next convention, or not next big meeting, corporate meeting, I suppose. So it's basically then taking the theory of the mindset of an entrepreneur and then actually start doing it. The doing is really
in fact, what Dr. Wayne has been sharing is it's interesting because if you break it down a little bit, you kind of notice that that's exactly the kind of things that an entrepreneur would do. Because number one, you set certain goals. So if you listen to what he just said just now, right? He basically set a certain number of goals, a goal for a certain number of people to attend a certain event or convention. Regardless of which company you're with today, I mean, a lot of us, every company would have some form of convention or event that is on a corporate level. That is for sure. That's a given. You know, every company has that. So set a goal, and then he then brought a certain number of people that he wanted to bring to that. I think that's also another interesting thing about entrepreneurship is that I think, and the importance of events, of course, because Dr. Wayne also demonstrated something called taking risk and having faith, right?
Yes.
When you put down real hard cash, right? You had to buy the tickets, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You put down real hard cash, and it is actually a sign of risk taking and faith in your future, right? That's also very interesting. And I think importance of events is that you kind of tell yourself that you're going to take some time away and from your business, but it is not going to be detrimental at all to your business. In fact, like what you said, it's going to help you explore the business 5 to 6 weeks after
Yeah.
the event. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah. And something else that we wanted to, I also want to kind of touch on was that sometimes you may hear us talk about certain numbers and certain time frames and weeks and so on, right? And you'll be surprised that actually it has been kind of an industry standard, because over so many years, the network marketing industry is not a baby industry. It is quite a mature industry, and many people have tracked these numbers. And so 5 to 6 weeks after convention or after an event, and you see a growth, is kind of a very trackable number, and it has been reported by many people. Correct, Dr. Wayne?
Yeah. Very, very. Yeah. That's very, very true. And as mentioned at the beginning, I really, really didn't get this. And I think I've mentioned before that even though I've done exactly everything that I've described in a normal business in terms of marketing, teaching marketing to the wellness industry, for example, meaning that we do a video like this, for example. Then we get them every month. I would then travel around Australia, basically then doing seminars to the local wellness professionals. And then from there, we'd have our then big conference, and we knew the importance of that. But once I put my network marketing hat on, I forgot all about marketing, which is really strange. Really, really strange. I look back at that time in my life, and it's kind of like just didn't understand. And even though I taught it, one of the big things in marketing is every business is the same in terms of how you market it. The product may be different, but marketing is the same globally. Okay. Yes, there's two different types, and we will get into this later on. Not today, but later on, that's for sure. But it really was funny. Totally forgot because I put a network marketing hat on, which is
Yeah,
quite.
yeah. It's quite funny, right? I mean, we have that all the time, and always remember that your skill sets in other aspects of your previous career or enterprise or whatever, it is still very applicable, right? Because
Yes.
it is still an industry where you are dealing with human beings, and when you deal with human beings, there are certain principles and of course practices that can be put to good use when you deal with people, and you can help them to better understand, right? So
Yes.
that's always, it's quite funny because sometimes I do the same thing. I kind of forget that, I can I can use my own skills or skills from another industry that I've come from, and it's 100% applicable here, right?
Yeah. And it is strange how the brain, it's like we get a tea towel and we go, no, this doesn't apply here. And we scrub the brain of what we actually learned or know prior, because we think network marketing is different. It is no different. It is no different. When you really get that, it releases something within you, because now you have this skill set that you can now actually take forward, whatever that skill set may be. And the importance of as mentioned before, the importance of getting people along, your team, to events is really important. The one thing that I love about the company we're involved with, BK, is there's no such thing as delineation of cross lines and all the rest of it. We're all there to basically help each other to get across the line, to be the best we possibly can, and to strive for all of us to create to be able to achieve the goals that we've actually set down for ourselves. And that I
Yeah.
think is inspirational and inspiring.
Yeah, that's something I really like about what we have as well. Yeah. Also, just to add on to that, I think the other thing about events or big events or corporate events where, um, in fact, a whole lot of the company associates or distributors are in the place. It is also a very simple way for you as an entrepreneur and to guide your team to help them to build their dreams. Because what happens is that as they meet people from all walks of life,
Yes.
they very immediately can it's a bit like what we talked about just now. We forget that we can use our skill sets. But once we go there, we kind of realize that we meet people from all walks of life. Some are corporate people, some are senior management people, some are homemakers, some are athletes, some are, all walks of life. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you kind of realize that, hey, I'm no different from them.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Very
Yeah.
true.
And also, when you hear about how they approach the business, you also kind of understand that the simplicity of the business is actually really just you keep doing the same simple things again and again, and all of them have seen success, right? And that validates your faith, your
Yeah, yeah,
your
yes, yeah,
decision, and so on, right?
yeah, yeah. Very, very true. Very true. And the interesting thing that we also did during this corporate event, which once again is just taking it to another level, we had our own little competition. That's our little granddaughter there chatting away. So you can hear her in the background, which is lovely.
No worries. This is Candid, so we expect
This
such
is
things to
Candid,
happen.
yeah, and this is our first granddaughter, and she's come down from probably about a 4 to 5 hour drive. Sorry, 4 to 5 hour flight, and it's just so beautiful hearing little chatters in the background, and it's so gorgeous.
That's one of the perks of the business, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Being able to be at home and be with them, yeah. And what we did, and this is something that you may like to do yourselves, even though we had a corporate event, we actually had our own little mini event to our team. So we actually had for the month of February, we then designed an event whereby a prize, sorry, whereby the amount of what was it? The most amount of people who you enrolled for that month was number one. And then we also had an inspiring testimonial or business builder for 2019. So the person who was inspirational during that year in terms of maybe their own testimonial, in terms of their improvement in either business or health, and how they've then been able to help other people as well. So don't think that just because it's a corporate event that you just go along and watch it and be a part of it. Fantastic. But if you want, you can actually then have your mini events within that as well. And it was really, really fantastic just seeing the team in front of you and then basically applauding the other people as it was as the prizes were given out, which was really, really nice with the backdrop of the corporate event as it was winding down on the second day. Still had another day to go because this was a 3-day event, and it was just fantastic to see. Really, really good.
Yeah, and I think the best part about such events within the event is that it builds the team.
Yes.
It builds up the team, and also again, because we have been touching on these attributes of entrepreneurship, right? Something that we kind of didn't touch on, but entrepreneurs can also withstand loneliness sometimes, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or you have the ability to be able to withstand loneliness because sometimes it feels as though you are the only one plugging away at
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
And all these events kind of give you a little break from such a kind of feeling because straight away you know that you're in a huge family and there's a lot of comrades or there's a lot of camaraderie around you and there's a lot of teamwork and team spirit and there's a lot of fun, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
get yourself to an event because then you don't feel so lonely all the time as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
We do appreciate that we do have a need to be able to withstand that because it is sometimes can be lonely because when you are trying to go for a certain goal and sometimes you may not have team members that come along yet, right?
Yeah.
As you're plugging away. So there is a certain characteristic of an entrepreneur that has to be strong in that sense. But um, don't always be like that. Come to an event and then you get the whole the family feeling and all that is good for you in your spirit actually, right?
Yeah. And it builds for those people who may be sitting on the fence, or those people who maybe once again sitting on the fence, but meaning that they are a leader but it builds conviction. It builds more conviction when you actually go along to something like this. And the more times that we do it, the more conviction it actually then builds within you. And the more conviction you have about the industry, the more conviction about you have will then about the company, the more conviction you'll have about yourself, and also the more conviction you'll then have about your team. So it's this basically effect that then is linear, yes, but it goes deep within your heart when you actually then have that conviction and you feel as if you belong. You know, it's a belonging that we all long for. And you know, when I'm doing health topics, one of the terrible statistics is the number one disease in the Western world is depression. And it's such a shame because I think social media and everything builds everyone up to be this perfect. And that's why I love what we've called here today. You know, what we've called this is Candid Conversations. My grandchild, we just heard in the background, things happen. We're not perfect. You know, it's just, this is who we are. And hopefully because of our authenticity and the way we bring it across, hopefully you'll enjoy what you're watching or what you're hearing.
Yeah. So with that, I think we kind of wrapped up nicely the importance of events. There is definitely one in your corporate calendar. So look for it, you know, if you haven't found it. And maybe just a last quick tip for everyone here. If you are listening to this and you are not even sure about joining the industry yet, I would suggest that you get in touch with the person who has spoken to you and ask them for an event that they might have and go for that event. And because what is interesting is this, you don't have to be in the industry yet to go for the event, right? Go for the event, figure out whether this is something for yourself very clearly, whether this is something that you may want to be a part of. And if it is for you, then you can jump right in, right? Because you went for the event and you made a huge commitment and decision, then you jump right in. But if you go to the event and decided that this is not for you, which is fine, which is perfectly acceptable, right? Then you literally do not have to waste your time anymore.
Correct. At least then you know. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So if you are not, so some of you who are listening and you're on the fence about the industry, suggestion to you is talk to your friend and then ask them to help you get to an event as quickly as possible, and you can do that, right? So with that, thank you, Dr. Wayne. Events are really useful and important, and it is so beneficial in so many ways. And we will talk about another topic next week. You go and spend time with your granddaughter.
Yeah. Thanks, BK. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.